Hey, I'm Kev Kim, welcome back to Ride 3 Has. Last time out, we tried out the 750cc bikes from the 80s and ended Tier 2. Or not yet, as we've got the special episode to do, the MV Agusta F4 History and Evolution. One of the most successful names in the history of motorcycling. This should be enough to define MV Agusta's quality. And yet the passion behind this name has pushed beyond and given life to a bike which holds the essence of motorcycling itself. Its name is MV Agusta F4 and is one of the most incredible bikes ever created. A result so perfect that this model has become the icon of its type. Since the beginning, the shapes of this moving work of art have proved how elegance can marry speed. Essential lines created to seduce and caress the wind. So perfect as to consecrate an immortal design to the test of time. As we are trying the MV Agusta F4 750 from 1998 first of all, and we go all the way to 2014 where we get the MV Agusta F4 RR if we complete this form 770 pp. Let's get going round Vallelunga. During the 90s, the superbike market was dominated by Japanese motorcycles and Ducati. For this reason, the Kagiva group, which controls MV Agusta, decided to start developing a new 4-cylinder road bike capable of entering the competitive market at that time. Initially, Ferrari was also involved in the project, and in fact the name of the model and engine F4 Ferrari 4-cylinder derives from them. The F4 750 was officially presented in 1997 and set the market, not so much for its performance but for its beauty and design. Let's here we go then. That's all, we go very wide in the last corner. That's a good setup for this lap. As we've got 3 laps to beat a 46 flat. How are we going to do that on this bike? Round, this is the full Vallelunga course, and it's like it is. Yes, I'm not the biggest fan of the 90s bikes. So this will be very interesting to see if we can do this. Obviously we can't. So just going to warm up on this lap, you know? Just learn how this bike rides, how this course rides, as once again we are just motorcycling hipster and it's like on board the bike. That's all. Do we have to get it all the way down to first? Is that one of these bikes where it just sucks the apex if we get it down to first? Just like it is. Or not. Oh no, it's made this apex, has it? Yeah, just about. God, we really do not know this course, do we? We are asking quite a lot of the bike. Actually feels a bit like a step down from those 80s bikes of the last time. Maybe that's why. Let's go forever around this right-hander. This is where I discover we're actually pretty decent time-wise. Despite all of these mistakes and not actually in one apex, I don't think that. We almost hit that one. We kind of went over it a bit. As we go towards the final corner, it actually is looking good time-wise. I'm worried. To go for the final corner, don't hit your head. Oh, he almost did. Now somehow that's a 47 flat. How have we got a star without that horrible? So we hit the dirt. Then we go through the first corner, a bit bumpy. And flat out. And heavy braking. Get it all the way down to first as we're 2 tenths down. This time we're going to run a country mile wide on the exit. Or in the entrance, should I say, and the exit. Then hard on the power for another heavy braking zone. Very much a modern circuit, Vallelunga. Quite fast, long straights in, tight, twisty, technical. Because now we're 2 tenths up. But then we brake for Poland into this corner. We're still braking for it. And now we've got it back on track, that's not too bad. All the way down to first. Use all of that curb, kind of straight line that corner. The downhill in first gear. Really trail brake, otherwise you can see the front of the bike just doesn't want to go into the corner. Because now we're a second up. We're in our targets, are we? Now, unfortunately, this was a set to where we actually hit some apexes. So we've got to try and be as smooth. Okay, a bit too much speed into those corners. In the final corner, get all the way down to first. Going to take the wide line, get on the power early. Not going to the gravel on the exit as we cross the line. It's going to be close. Done it. Easy. That's the same as the last time though, wasn't it? With the Kawasaki, where the first time attack was incredibly easy for some reason. There we go, 5 stars. Cracking start. So next up we have a single race in Imola. As crazy as a track-ready model, the F4 750 with its extreme riding position clashed with the main Japanese 750s, which were designed more for everyday roads such as the Kawasaki ZX7RR, the Yamaha YZF-R7, the Suzuki GSX-R 750S Rad, and the Italian Ducati 916. The F4's performance didn't stand out from the others, but its design was futuristic and remains one of the most beautiful bikes ever made. So we are looking down at our very retro 90s dash as we rev it up and get underway for 3 laps here in Imola, in Italy. Sorry, San Marino. Around this classic circuit. Have that end zone Dino Ferrari. It's on our classic bike, 90s bikes. We're being aggressive early. We've got a second time penalty. Where's that come from? Why have we got a second time penalty as we're up into 4th? We did totally fair manoeuvres on track. It's a bit wide there. That's allowed the bi-motor back bite. We're going to 2. Sir, Tulsa, come on, get on the power. Could take running ride, make it an advantage or not. Doesn't quite seem to have the grunt, does it? Or the Ducati, the Kawasaki of the bi-motor in front. There's actually gravel on the exit of a corner. What is this? This isn't an F1 track. This isn't a European track, is it? Can we check him at his credentials? It should have 5,000 metre tarmac runoff there. What is this blasphemy? To go into the chicane, slightly outbraked ourselves. Going to power nice and smooth. Let's get actually looking our mirrors backwards now as well. That's pretty cool. That's how we're going to win this if the guy in front's quicker than us. Well, we can go into the gravel. Oh, look at that line. No one ever thought of taking that line through the gravel, did they? There's hello. This is a bit of a throwback as well. We've got the final chicane. I swear they got rid of that on the 90s circuit. I guess not then. The redesign way back when. Let's see if we can pull a second gap then. So we've got to use all of the curves here. This is so opposite to the Imola I remember in an F1 car, where you try and avoid the curves like a plague, because we've got the second gap. Just need to keep the lead at that gap. Let's get up the hairpin, go uphill. The crazy fans on the right hand side as we're halfway through this race. As I got a hobby wrong for the left. Did not need to get it down to first. Did not need to be aggressive on the power. Because I panicked a bit. See how slow we were going. So have a 1.7 second lead though, which is a bit of a joke. We actually extended our lead in that section. Don't know how. Get all the way down to first. And you go nice smooth exit. As it's very important when you go intersection with someone, try and make a break and move downhill here. This is a very tricky braking zone. I feel like we're taking a worse line now, which is the circuit, which is a track. Could be that run out of the gravel. As going to the fine chicane. All the way down to first, then nice exit across the line. There's going to be a 56, is it? Nah, 57.2. Let's still lead by 1.6 seconds. We've got the gap we need. Didn't think we actually have the pace against 110%, but it seems like we do. Maybe 115's our actual pace then. But again, like previous races where I thought we could maybe step up. So maybe because we've got clean air, we can put away and pull a 2.7 second lead. Maybe actually be a bit closer. Or maybe we're just not quick enough. It was actually 115, but something we want to find out. So go down the second. There. Now you don't have to panic on the throttle on the exit. As you are just pulling away. So we're they're very slow into this corner. I want to say that's Aqua Minerale, but I always get the corners confused round here. I think you've got the Ravatas at the bottom of the hill as well. Your chicane, I used to remember the name of it. But like most things in life, I've just forgotten it. There's just a few corners to go. And it's alright, we're getting a few more stars to add to our basket. It's a bit wide. So 3 seconds up. You see all of that curbing again. That's interesting. Pit lane is now before this corner when it always used to be after. Let's go for the fine chicane. Exit nice and smooth. And across the line for another victory on board the MV Agusta. And look at that thing. Let's get up to rank 187. And for only 3 stars for that. That was an actual race. That actually took effort. Unlike that, whatever he did in Vallelunga to get all those stars. As now we've got a night race in Italy. Around the Guardia Lake. And on board the 2006 MV Agusta F4 1000S. With the market increasingly focused on the Supersport 1000 engine size, MV Agusta also decided to upgrade its F4 in 2006. The result was a bike 30% more powerful than the previous 750 model. Horsepower increased up to 166 horsepower and torque is brought up to 109 Nm at 10,200 RPM. All this without changing the design and lines that made the F4 famous. So I remember this race being a bit more difficult in the past, so let's drop this down to 100, shall we, to our safe zone. So we are looking down at our much more modern looking dash. And this bike has, I could actually barely see that thing with how bright the lights are, as we get underway for 3 laps of fun here in Italy. With another wonderful start on modern machinery. There's all a clash in front. Can take advantage of that, dive down the inside. We can get back to 10th at least as we head towards the waterfall hairpin. Look at that background, that scenery. So let's try and break it tight so we can get past the Aprilias and get back to where we started. And let's try and head to where we belong at the front. So work on this Yamaha first of all. Oh, easily past them. To really back them up as well, back them up a bit too much. Let's go over the bumps. Nicely on the power. Let's go behind Richards. So he tries to make a move there. That's really slowed them down though. As you get past Ducati. Very bright ovals. You get up into 4th somehow in all of that. Do love that section though, very quick. Now just got the top three to chase down. As we go for the flat out right. Remember that. Then uphill as all. They got very close to the wall in front. Maybe they had to slow down a bit. And try and go down the inside of the Kawasaki. Fast two Kawasaki try and sneak second as well. We're alongside. We do. So now all we've got in front is that Honda in front we've got. So he hits the barrier. Now we've got the run down the inside, do we? Not quite. Oh, we do on the exit though. Sneak by into the lead. As we go through the left and we're just ahead of weed. We're ahead of a drug. We're doing our drug. Racing. As we go for the right hander. Oh, easy to clip that apex. And through the final corner, nice and smooth exit. Let's see if we can race away now as we barely survived one lap. I don't know how we're going to survive another two. As we lead by. See, weed is the devil. It is evil. Definitive proof there. As we go towards the waterfall hairpin. Oh, he looks around our outside. We kind of let go of the brakes and just took their line away. They maybe wanted on the exit, but they do still sound very close. There's having a little nip through the left hander, once again denied though. How about over the bumps? Once again denied us. They're still right on our tail. Quarter of a second. With the fast stuff as well, where they're getting slipstream. We are pretty fast through here. Especially through those couple corners. Wait, it's still quarter of a second as he dives down our inside. Reed's a bit out of control. So he can get them back through the right hander. As they were all out of shape. Making that move. As we're halfway through the race. Nice smooth exit. That's what we like out of the right hander. It's suddenly got a bit quiet. But then we've got these slow corners in the second half of this lap. Really do hate these corners. Very slow, very tight. All first gear. Apart from this one actually. You can take that in second. Well, I say all of them. You still got the fast chicane coming up. Fast kinks. But it's left to right. Call it chicane, they're actually a bit separated, these corners. So we are 6/10 in front. Towards the final corner. Through the left, hard on the power. Just one more lap to go. As we got to the night sky, it's getting a bit brighter outside, is it? So lead by 7/10. We are defeating Reed. But they are very good in this first section. We can hear them closing back up to us. We can see it now with the bright lights again nicking to our outside. But again, the second half of the lap is ours. So just have to hold on in this first part. That's a good exit, right up to the pavement on the outside. Bit wide over the bumps. Got the power early enough though. As he's less than a quarter of a second behind. He's actually closer than the previous lap. We go up to 6th gear over 160 miles per hour. So that's a bit slow and cautious through those corners. To increase the gap slightly and then Weed again just attacking us for no reason through that corner. And again he's going to be all out of shape through that right hand kink. Which you can really build momentum up towards this hairpin. You get it right. Yeah, nice smooth exit out of the right hander. So you've reached the halfway mark of this final lap. Looking in control. Just to say that we go slightly wide through the right hand on the exit. And very wide through the next right. Come on, get on the power nice and smooth. There you go, out the left, that's nice and smooth on the power. Just a couple of fast corners and a couple of slow ones to go. That's lead by 1.4, much quicker than the previous lap. Now just a very tight right. Much more open left. On to the power. And we cross the line with another victory. Seems like 100% was our level in the end. As it's just give and take on that lap. A bit fast in the second half there, a bit fast in the first bit. As we get 6 stars, wonderful. Add them to the tally as our fastest lap is less than a second quicker, 2.3 ahead of the Honda. And next up we head to the Frankie Corder track. As MV Agusta produced 300 specimens of the F4 Special Edition in honour of the F1 champ, Ayrton Senna, characterised by exit components such as the Brembo Series OR brakes and the Senna S highlighted on the dark fairing. This version of the F4 was able to further push the bike's performance, reaching 174 horsepower and a top speed of almost 300 kilometers. Now I remember this being an even tougher track for us than the previous one, so do we even lower it down to hard now? Maybe like to 90%? Depends on the layout. If it's a long layout, then I think 90% will be okay. So we are looking down at our much more modern looking dash on this bike as we get underway for 3 laps here in Italy. And had another dreadful start to the list. Seriously, what is the point of us starting down in 8th on these machines? We could start first and still be last to the first corner. It is just pointless. Let's try and make some moves. Totally legal line as he gets shoved wide. And for some reason that rider doesn't want to hit the accelerator. As we go into the abysmal chicane. Get up to 5th. He's behind the Yamaha. Get by him, and now we're behind Smokey 420, the gold lion, you can see. In front. As all the leaders down. I haven't really seen that in ride before. That's interesting that they brought something over from the MotoGP and MXGP games. Good to see. As now we've just got 2 riders to overtake. As you get past the triumph of Smokey. And now we've got to defeat Weed. Once again we got to defeat the Devil's Lettuce to win a race. So, bike's gone very wide there. What are you doing, Curb? Launching us to heaven? And what are you doing, Smokey? Trying to punt us through corners. So go just about through that chicane. You can see we've got to use the curves around it, but the curves are so horribly designed they can just kick you up for no reason. They are actual landmines. It's a shame this circuit is pretty horrible in this game. Like, it is better there to run off track, use the grass as traction control to get on the power on this back straight on this machine, then take the circuit normally. It's better to run off circuit. I guess like most modern circuits then, I guess. So go on to the final lap, we're still around... Oh, we're 6 tenths back now. We actually got our heads down. Lost a couple of tenths that lap. Let's go a bit wide. Gained a 10th back. So a 10th quicker. Going nicely on the power. We've got a great run here. Through the chicane. Take the lead. We're defeating Weed again. And now once again, can we pull away? So man, he was 6 tenths quick on this lap. How were we so slow the previous lap then? There's a time I get on the power smoothly on this back straight. Just a couple corners to go. That's all, he tried to outbrake us, did he? Got it horribly wrong. We go out the final corner. Across the start-finish line. Found one of our bogey circuits, no doubt, as we win. Just about. Bloody hell, that was close. As we get lots of reputation and rank. And we get 3 stars for that. For all of that. As we won by 1.2 seconds. And next up we head back to Vallelunga. This time for another time attack on the 2014 MV Agusta F4 RR. 17 years after the launch of the famous F4 750, MV Agusta wanted to push the performance of its Superbike 1000 higher. The frame made of CRMO steel frame tubes is completed by lightweight aluminium alloy plates to which the single-sided swing arm is anchored. The electronic controlled suspension and steering dampers are adjustable according to engine maps or in a completely autonomous way. The design is also renewed with high, narrow lines. The famous underseat exhausts are now more squared, and the central optical unit has a series of LED lights added to it around the airbox vent edge. So here we go then for the first of 3 laps to see if we can beat the 39.8. As it's at the same circuit, looks like it is. As bloody hell, this bike does not want to go anywhere quick. Exit the corner. It definitely does feel much more powerful than any of the bikes we've tried so far. And I would say we preferred the 90s bikes. Despite it not steering as well as the previous bike. Just felt bit more adjusted to it. So let's see how this 2014 machine does, or how it feels. I can use engine braking to get it slowed, that's already a big plus. Fortunately I can't accelerate with it, because it's got big ass wheelies. Just like the 2006 machine. But I'm already liking this so much more than the previous couple of editions. It's definitely the favourite so far. So we're just hooking up every corner. This is looking very good, this opening lap. Let's go towards the final corner. Just make sure you're nice and smooth on the power. Don't hit the warning inside. I said that cost us then. Or have we just beaten it? We have 39.2. Should have been in the 38s though. But we'll take it. We'll take all of the stars once again as we've won 100 events now. And we've got 3 stars. How does that event give the same amount of stars as the previous event? Even though the previous event was a bit longer, that race. But we end with a night race round Monza, of course we do. As a result of the technological development that started with the F4 750 1998 and reached its latest incarnation with the F4 RR. It's a bike with extreme performance, 201 horsepower, with a torque of 111 newton meters at 9,600 RPM, able to compete with the competition's best bikes without sacrificing the typical style that made MV Agusta and its F4 famous. So we are at night once again. Look at that modern dash. That's light it is. Yeah, does it? That's the future dash. As we rev it up and get underway for 3 laps of fun here. Of course, you get a terrible start. Don't tell me you've got all the chicanes. We do have all the chicanes. Hold it. We're not even survived till the end of the race, as we get a 1.3 second penalty already. I just remembered I forgot to change the difficulty. It's still at 90%. So this race might be a bit easier. We might be able to get away with that penalty then. Let's go through Curva Bassanol. Used to be Curva Grande. Got changed a few years back. Let's go through the Della Woggia. I'm up to 6th. So not a bad start. Now through the first Lesmo. And then the second Lesmo. Not quite dive down the inside there. Maybe on the exit as he head towards the infamous Ascari chicane. Try and go down the inside the Honda here. Finally make it through on the apex of the corner. And so they're very slow in front. So get up into second. And now we just got Smokey 420 as the leader to beat. They've been our enemy, haven't they? Reed and Smokey. As what the hell is this? What the hell is that Panaborka? So wide open and flat. As we get past the Kawasaki, do we? Oh, you switch allegiances from the Tribe to Kawasaki. With different eras, we just get ahead. Now can we spot a breaking point? That's not bad. Shouldn't have seen that was blind luck. As he exit under these beautiful night sky. And he'll stop looking above. He'd actually be looking down at the track, but doesn't it pretty nice overhead? So he lead by a second. And we've got the kind of space where we can just enjoy this bike. The best space to be. As our opponents are still trash in this game, so just being by yourself, you get to really enjoy these bikes. And yeah, definitely this 2014 incarnation is my favourite. Surprisingly stable, can brake brilliantly. Pretty hefty in a straight line as well. Pretty good round corners. I may have got it a bit wrong rather than go earlier. It can ride a curb. Unlike that 2006 bike. Unlike their 1998 bike, it can go through corners. And so yeah, it is just fantastic evolution of this MV Agusta F4. As we go on to the final lap of this special volume. I haven't liked these bikes as much as the Kawasaki's. But then I seem to really like Kawasaki for some reason. As where are we braking? See, look, that's the bike chicane. That's what we were braking for. We're braking for the right chicane there. Don't know why they're giving us the F1 circuit. On the normal circuit, I guess, for cars. Isn't that, we're even so, but we still get penalties added on. It's almost like it's iRacing in here. As a bit wide for the first Lesmo. You can just use that green stuff on the exit as well as the curb. Okay, we're not that curb. I did not like getting on the power. Just got a couple of corners to go. Oh, missed this bike. Maybe not the others as much. So that's maybe why I like the Kawasaki a bit more. But it's been fun trying out a different manufacturer. One of the most famous bike manufacturers as well. Like, being a fan of racing and looking at their history. He's manufacturing Grand Prix motorcycle racing especially. And looking at its association especially with Agostini as well. It's fabulous to finally be able to ride one of these bikes, as it's now in World Superbikes, not doing as well. But it's definitely been improving as we get all of the stars, 5 of them. And we have completed the Passion. As we won by a country mile. And now give us our reward. Look at this beast. If we get it's the bike we've just ridden as well, that we've won. Isn't it? As yes, we definitely do want to set as our main bike. And we've got something else to put on the shelf. As we had another award. And we have completed this tier. As it is confirmed, 25 out of 25 stars, our 18th volume complete. And next time, we'll be going up a tier. It's the early 90s, sports bikes before the technological revolution. So maybe bikes I actually like, because the technical revolution bikes of the 90s and thousands, not as much. So we see what they're like next time as we go to tier 3. And then again, we've got, it's like 10 volumes or normal volumes, or 9 normal volumes, and then the special volume at the end of Suzuki. That should be great fun then. But I hope you enjoyed our time in the MV Agusta on this episode. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.